up, Owen? What's up, guys? Chase, you're sideways. Chase, you're sideways. Chase, why are you crooked?
Oh, no. You did.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
For audio, there we go.
Hey Rob, can you hear me?
Yes,
From the house.
sir.
I see Ian just chewing away there.
He was
Daniel's hanging out over in San Francisco.
nice. Hang on. Oh, that's my book. Book. Get out of the way.
See Liam is taking a ship back to space. All right. I see
Oh,
Kendrick's
where's some
here.
daylight, brother? We can't see you, my friend.
There's no light down here.
You in the dungeon, Cole?
Yeah.
I see Rob's joined us. Hey Rob,
What's going on?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks again for joining.
No problem. How we doing, guys?
Good.
Outstanding.
So we're
Guys,
we're gonna-
I'm going to mute everybody except for Rob and the coaches, okay?
yeah, we're gonna give. Why don't we give kids another minute to join here, Rob? Just to make sure.
Yeah, all good.
Let's see here. I think we're supposed to be accessing from another room.
Coach Kenrick's in. Rob, this is pretty awesome you joining us.
Yeah, no, happy we can make it work.
Colin
Got
just
some
joined.
Atlas fans in here.
Love
Is
it.
Got some Atlas fans. There you go.
I figured of all the people, you would be wearing either that or something else.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Osbafani's my boy.
Oh, I love Piff.
Yeah, Piff's the dude, man. Piff's awesome.
He is the man.
All right, well, why don't we get started? Rob, I know, first of all, thank you for joining us. My name's Kevin Kelly. A couple other coaches that are on the line. You've got Rob Wetmore and Chris Garancher. These are two of the assistant coaches on the team. And then Joe Aquino, who I know had made contact with you, and hopefully he's going to be joining here in just a moment. But guys, just in terms of a quick introduction, and I promise, Rob, I don't want to gush over statistics and stuff like that.
Keep it short, please.
Keep it short. I promise. But guys, it's a great opportunity for you to interface with one of the best attack players in the world right now. Rob, even though you went to Cornell, I'm sorry, I'm a Penn guy. I was actually going to throw the Cornell hat on, but I had to.
I got a pretty good record against Penn. I won't hold it against you.
Yeah, you did. Pretty good record against most people. But a couple of the things that Rob accomplished, guys, over the course of his career, is the Ivy League Rookie of the Year his freshman year. He's All-American multiple years, All-Ivy League multiple years. And ultimately, that culminated in 2013 with the Twarton Award, which is given to the top college lacrosse player in the country. Drafted by the New York Lizards shortly thereafter, was Rookie of the Year and been in multiple All-Star games and Warrior Offensive Player of the Year, and most recently, guys, was drafted by the Atlas in this past year's draft. And then internationally, plays for Team USA, assisted on last year's World Championship goal on the last second to beat Canada, which was one of the greatest games, greatest games I saw all year long. But, really, Rob, thanks again for joining. That's just a kind of a quick snippet. I don't know if you want to add anything to that for the kids before we
I won't add anything, but I think this is right next to me, so you can show this. See, as you said it, so here's my ring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Freaking sweet.
I don't bring it out often. I just I've been rearranging some things during this period, so clean my shelves off.
Yeah, we all have excuses to clean our offices, that's for sure. So a little bit about this team. Rob, this is a 5th and 6th grade team out of the Allentown, Pennsylvania area. We've got kids that are on this team actually from a couple of different school districts in this area, but it was largely going to be considered, and I say this, proudly, this was going to be probably one of the best teams this area's ever seen actually within this age group. So it's unfortunate that the pandemic hit and cut our season short, but this is a team that's filled with a lot of really great talent. We've got kids that play for Mesa, for Triple H, for NXT, and a host of other clubs. And again, when we brought up the possibility of you joining us today, there was just an outpouring of emails from people about how excited they were. So what I'd like to do, let me open it up to questions from the kids. So, guys, again, this is your opportunity to ask a question. So anyone want to start us off?
Matt Kelly's got a question. We'll let him go first here. Matt.
Go ahead, Matt.
Rob Pannell, what's it like being a D1 student athlete at an Ivy League college?
Great question. It's if you handle your time right and go about your business the right way, it's as easy as you want to make it. And I know I never had any. My dream school was Virginia, so I never had any ambitions of going to an Ivy League school. I was always a good student. My dad went to Brown, so he always harped on the academic side of things first. I was always afraid to bring home a B in school. It was always study first, and athletics always came second. So fortunate enough that when Cornell came as an opportunity, my grades were good enough to get me in there. And, I had built up just kind of a way about me that I went about my studying and built up good habits when it came to studying. So I was ready for that student athlete kind of challenge that Cornell represents. So, there's a lot of decisions that you have to make as a student athlete and as a college kid. So, academics always came first for me, and I had to make sure that I was doing my job in the classroom. And then lacrosse came second. And then, having some fun with your teammates and your other friends at school came after that. So I prioritized that, and I did a good job of being consistent with that. So if you can do that, and you're going to find yourself, getting through pretty easily. Also, I think our coaching staff does and does now a good job of prioritizing it for you. You have study hall as a freshman to make sure you're getting in a certain amount of hours of work each week, and you're not just going home and falling asleep, because it is exhausting. So as long as you're prioritizing the right things, you can get about your, doing well in school and doing well in the field and having the success that you want to have.
Awesome. Hey, who's next? I think Bailey Wetmore had a question for you here. Let me unmute him for you. Go ahead, Bailey.
What's the number one reason you got to where you are today?
Great question. The number one reason, wow, I don't think I've ever been asked that question. The number one reason why I've gotten to where I am today. I like to say consistency, and I think it's a very underrated characteristic of great players, is that they are able to perform at a high level for an extended period of time. And I don't just mean consistency in performance. I mean consistency in everything that leads to that performance. So for me, I can honestly say that from probably my junior, senior year of high school to when I started working out and really putting an emphasis on strength and conditioning till now, I've been consistent in investing in my performance. So, I rarely ever miss a day when it comes to working out, and I'm consistent in my work ethic when it comes to that. And with that, it's eating, it's getting your reps in on the field. So, I can honestly say that I've consistently pushed myself to be my very best for the last, 12 years, which is a long time. And it's very tough to do. It's very challenging. It's exhausting on yourself because, you know, I never really give myself a break, but that's the price that I have to pay in order to be the best. And that's what my ultimate goal is, to be the very best that I can be. And, you know, you're not going to be your best if you go 2 days and then you take 3 days off. And, you know, you might as well not have done those 2 days. So being consistent on a day-to-day basis and doing it for 12 years is something that I really take a lot of pride in. And, you know, is probably the reason that I've been able to perform at such a high level year over year for that period of time as well, is because I've stayed consistent with my work ethic. And as I like to say, my consistency during the week is what wins the games on the weekends. You know, the weekend games are a day off as far as I'm concerned. You know, I can't wait to get the game day because of how much I push myself during the week. And I've been able to do that pretty consistently for 12 years, which is a pretty good, you know, 12, 13 years, pretty good amount of time.
That's a long time.
That's amazing, guys. So who else has a question here? Let's see. Johnny Grancher, give it to us, buddy.
All right. Hey, Rob, what did you do to succeed at the highest level of lacrosse?
What did I do? I always evaluated my weaknesses. So, you know, it started out when I was your guys' grade, and this would be my second answer to the question that you just answered. You asked Bailey as far as why I am where I am today, and it's because I have a left hand that's as good as my right hand. And my sophomore year in high school, the only reason I made varsity and started on varsity was because we didn't have a lefty attackman, and I was that guy. And I was a righty, but I had worked on my left hand when I was in 5th and 6th grade, so that it became as good as my right, and people didn't know my right from my left. You know, I was never the strongest, the biggest, or the fastest guy, so I needed to make sure that I had the best stick skills with both hands so that I was uncoverable one way. And I took pride in that from a very early age. When I came to indoor lacrosse, I put the stick in my left hand. I didn't care if I dropped a pass or threw a bad pass or missed a shot, because I knew that the next time I would be that much closer. And that was something that I did from when I was your guys' age till now. And I think that was something that allowed me to get a spot on varsity, and from there allow me to develop my skills. But then when I got the size, the speed, I got a little stronger. I had such a great skill set in place that I started to then pass everyone. You know, I look at a lot of people, and I look at some of my best friends I grew up with, that they had size and speed at an early age. They didn't have to develop two hands. They didn't have to develop an accurate shot or detailed footwork, and they just got away with being a good athlete at a young age. I was the opposite, so I had to develop the skill side of things, because that's what I could control, was how good my skills were. And then when I got to that certain age, you know, my junior, senior year of high school and college, where I can now have a little more control over the physical side of things, my strength, my conditioning, my skill set was already in place. So, you know, the athlete Rob met the skill Rob, and they became one Rob, and that's when I really hit the ground running.
Wow, that's a great answer. Anybody else? I know that Chase Aquino kid's got a question.
So, who is your favorite player to watch besides yourself?
Favorite player to watch besides myself. I mean, growing up, my favorite player was Connor Gill. Played for the University of Virginia, and he was an ex-attackman, and he's kind of the guy that I modeled my game after a little bit. And, you know, I was watching him in the Final Four for years as Virginia was successful in the early 2000s. And he was certainly a guy that I watched a little bit. As far as just watching play and you know, enjoying it, you know, I'd probably have to go with my little brother, James. You know, it's always nice to watch your little brother play. You know, Grant Ament, Michael Sowers, as of late, are pretty exciting guys to watch. But growing up for me, we didn't have access like you guys. You know, I wasn't Zoom and Rob Pannell when I was growing up, so we didn't have access to YouTube or all the highlights and stuff that you guys do. So really the only lacrosse that we could watch was on TV Memorial Day weekend every year. So that was when I watched some of those top guys and, the Powells and Connor Gill. And then, I grew up a big Lizards fan. So I went to my fair share of professional lacrosse games and watched those guys as well. And then ended up playing for them for the last 7 years. So.
Hey, Rob, I got a question. Does that mean you're going to drag Kevin Crowley over here to Atlas with you?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I know Kevin has opportunity to go to the PLL the year before, so I don't know if he's all in on the MLL or not. But I don't know. We'll see.
I have a related question though to that one, Rob, which is any chance we'll see you playing box lacrosse, maybe even with the Wings?
I think my days of potentially playing box are up. I'm 30 years old. I know where my bread is buttered, and that's outdoor. I think if I was to go play indoor, I'd have a target on my back, and I don't know if I'd make it out there in one piece. So I'm going to save my body for outdoor and make sure it's 100% in outdoor season for the last few years that I have here.
Gotcha.
Anybody else before we go ahead, Bryson?
What makes a great attackman?
Oh, great question.
In my opinion, and this kind of, you see some more attacking these days getting away with it. I'm a big Jeff Teat fan, and he's all left-handed. But the attackman has to be the most skillful player on the field. And by that, I like to say he has to have two hands, left-handed, right-handed, and he's got to be a triple threat at all times. So he's got to be a scoring threat, be able to beat his defender and get to the goal. He's got to be able to play with his head up and feed, see his teammates, and then he's got to be able to dodge. If he's not able to shoot, he's got to be able to get to good areas of the field where he can re-dodge and put the defense in a vulnerable position. So, as I like to say, change speed, change directions, get to the island. All those things, in my opinion, make a great attackman. But there's also great attackmen that are able to sit on the crease and put the ball on the goal better than anybody else. So it's really up to your definition. I've always been the more quarterback type and more dodger type. So for me, it's been, being behind the goal, being able to initiate, being able to play with both hands and set up my teammates and really quarterback an offense. But, that's really up to you, because I've played with plenty of great attackmen that have made me look really good too. And that's just by catching the ball wherever it is and putting it in the back of the goal.
Anybody else have anything, guys?
Yeah, I have one question for Rob. Rob, I was lined up to help coach the B team this year. We were blessed with 40 plus kids on the team. What could you say to those kids who necessarily didn't make that A team, where they're in fifth grade now, they're in sixth grade now, but in a couple years, things could be a lot different if they put the work in? What could you say to those kids who,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was one of those kids. Growing up on Long Island, the club scene was just getting started, and there were only 2 club teams on Long Island, where now there's probably 100. But if you didn't make one of those 2 teams, you kind of were just going to summer camps and on your own for the summer. And I didn't make either of them for about 2 years, and it was right around 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So what I did is I just invested in myself, and I went to instructional camps and clinics, which weren't even offered that much back then as much as they are today, and even the resources that you have online now to be able to work on your game. But I invested in myself, and as I like to say, control the controllable, and that's your stick skills, your footwork, your shooting accuracy, having 2 hands, whatever the skill side of the game is that you can simply get better at by just putting in the time and putting in the work, right? You're not going to be able to control how fast you grow and how strong you are and how fast you are, not at this age. But you can control how great your stick protection is, or throwing a great pass to a teammate, or when you get the opportunity to score, you put it to a good spot. So those are the things you can control. So for those kids, I would say, don't think about what you don't have, but focus on what you can get better at and what you can work on and get better at those things. And then when that other side, as I said, the physical side meets the skill side, then you really start to see the improvements. But you have to invest in the other side first. And I think if you do that and you become a better player and more confident player, over time, you're going to become just naturally, as you get older, a better athlete, and you'll become the player that you want to be. So that's what I tell kids. I was one of them. I didn't make varsity as a freshman. I didn't make those club teams, and certainly I was a late bloomer and wasn't recruited really until my prep school. It took a fifth year of high school. So, but through that time, I stayed consistent with that and really invested in myself and invested in the individual skill side of things, so that when, the other things out of my control came into my control, I was able to have some success.
That's awesome. Hey, Kevin, do you have anything else for him?
Oh, I've got all kinds of questions, but I also want to be respectful of Rob's time. So do you have a few more minutes you can give us, Rob?
Yeah, all good.
So one of the things you brought up were camps and clinics that you attended. I think you had started the Attack Academy not too long ago. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Attack Academy?
Yeah, sure. So Attack Academy started on field, and it's camps and clinics all over the country, and we work with midfielders and attackmen, and it's very much skill oriented, how I grew up working in my backyard and the things that I worked on. And I actually found my high school highlight tape the other day, and I hadn't watched it in probably, 10 years. But I popped it in, and I just started laughing because a lot of things that I harp on to kids when I go to these clinics is, there's no groundbreaking new skill that I'm going to teach you, but I will teach you what you know, and I will teach you certain details about it that you don't know and how to do it the right way. Because the same things that I'm using are the same things that I learned when I was in 5th and 6th grade, and the things that I was working on my backyard. I've just done them thousands of times, and I've studied them and watched and to the finest of details, to where your stick should be and where your footwork should be. And I've just done them over and over again, that no matter if a defenseman knows what I want to do, which he does, because he watches my film and it's been the same for 10 years, I still get to where I want to be, and I still get the moves that I want to do. So, I tell kids that, and when I was watching my high school highlight tape, it was just much of the same. And it's like, I look like the same player, just maybe a little bigger now, but it was just, that's what we work on. We work on footwork. We work on stick work. We work on how your stick should be placed, we want you to hold your stick, footwork on dodges, shot placement. Yes, we teach kind of a method of how we want you to go about thinking about things. And it's translatable from shooting time and room, okay, and then shooting on the run, just shooting inside, right? A lot of the points are similar, and just so that we kind of pride ourselves on teaching kids a method that they can then remember and take into their own practice, which I think is very important, because a coach isn't always there. And then most recently, we launched the A3 Lacrosse app, which is for right now offensive players, midfielders, and attackmen. And it's got a ton of drills on it. It's got instruction from myself, Grant Ament, and Will Manny. And we also have a one-on-one coaching availability, so you can upload video and we can coach you. And most recently, with everything that's going on, we're doing 2 live sessions a week. So last night, with everyone that's a subscriber, we did 45 minutes of footwork and stick handling. So footwork and just stick protection and holding your stick in the right place. And kids got a great workout in. And then on Saturdays, Grant Ament does film sessions with our subscribers. So he does, he goes over his Penn State games, and he does some sessions there. So that's what we're doing now because of everything that's going on. And it's been great to connect with kids and to have to bring this to their home, because obviously camps and clinics are up in the air right now for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I created codes for you guys, Trojans 3. I know that's your team name, and that's 25% off of any of the subscriptions if you want to do that. But the app is free. The drills are free. So in my opinion, there's no reason any midfielder and attackman in the world shouldn't download it, as there's a lot of things you can learn from just simply watching the drills. And it's been really cool to see kids really take a liking to it. And it's certainly a tool that I wish I had when I was younger, because I was out in that backyard and I was doing things, and I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, but eventually I figured it out.
That's awesome.
Rob, what's the name of the app again so these guys know it?
It's A3 Lacrosse Attack Academy app, A3, and then if you type lacrosse into the App Store, if you forget, it should come right up as well.
Awesome.
I'll make sure that I forward that out to the team, Rob, when after this session. A couple more questions, and again, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, all good.
You talked a little bit about how obviously we're in quarantine now, so I was just curious how your workouts have changed as a result of quarantine. I mean, there's a possibility that PLL may be playing, later on in the season, but you still got to stay in game shape. And so I was curious what your week maybe looks like from a workout routine standpoint.
Yeah, it's allowed me to get creative, and I think that's some of the fun parts about it. I don't have the weights that I do in the gym, but I do have some, and it's allowed me to get creative with my workouts. But it's also, I generally like to lean out going into the season and try and drop a few pounds and get to a little quicker body weight where I'm going to be a little quicker at. So it's allowed me to do that as well. I've been running a lot and longer distance type stuff just for conditioning purposes. And then, high intensity body weight stuff, which I put a lot out on my Instagram, daily workouts that I do. And mostly everything I do, I put on there just so people know and people have it. But, for you guys, I'd say those body weight exercises are great. And you can start to build muscle just through those alone. And start to really see some changes in your body if you do them consistently. Like I said, with anything, it's consistency. If you can wake up and do a 20 to 30 minute workout every day and pair that with a good diet, you're going to see some results in 2-3 weeks. With that, I'll also say, as far as with what's going on, you guys have a very unique opportunity. I know you're still probably in school and doing schoolwork. My mom's a teacher, so she says none of her students are doing schoolwork. So I don't know how many of you guys are, but
They're trying.
But I know you're home, and it's a great opportunity, I think, for us to really work on our skills. I think about what a young Rob would be doing during this time. I know I'd be out in my backyard, I'd be shooting, I'd be up against my pitch back, working on both hands and certainly taking advantage, because I think there's 2 ways you can go about it, right? You guys had a great team and looking forward to having a great season. You could be upset and down that season's not happening, but every lacrosse player in the world is knowing their season's not happening. It's done. So, you're no different than any of us, and I'm still not sure what's going on with my season, but all we can do is look forward and move forward and think about the next time we do step on the field and make sure that we're our very best then. So anything that you guys can be doing now, whether it's stick skills, whether it's footwork, whether it's conditioning, body weight workouts, anything that's going to make you a better individual for the next time you guys step on the field will make you guys a better team. And, I think there's lacrosse players right now that are looking negatively at the situation, sitting inside, playing video games, not doing much, feeling sorry for themselves. And there's guys that are being proactive and working on their game and working on some of their weaknesses, making themselves uncomfortable with some workouts so that the next time they do step on the field, they'll be better because of it. And the choice is yours. I know the choice that I've made. It's the choice that I've made for the past 13 years. And I know hopefully you guys are making the right choices too, but you can really come out of this a better player if you choose to. I really believe that, and that's what I've been telling a lot of players that I keep in touch with.
Yeah,
Rob, I have a quick question if I can. Kevin, do you mind if I jump in?
Yep, go ahead.
I grew up doing a lot of sports growing up, and the pressure seems in today's day and age for kids to specialize early and earlier in a specific sport, even though you constantly hear the college recruits saying, we want multi-sport athletes. Yep. So there's talk out of both cheeks here. We want multi-sport athletes, but if you're not specializing in a sport, you're going to fall behind. So my question to you is, we have kids here that do martial arts. We have kids that play football, soccer, and so forth. At what point is it safe for them to begin to specialize in their sport? When can they wander away from doing multi-sports and specialize? When's it too early and when's it too late?
The club scene at the youth age is so hard now, right? Because if you miss events and you miss practices and you're not committed to the club program year round, then you may not make it, or your spot might be taken as someone who is more committed, or who's paying more. It's a very difficult question for me to answer because of how I grew up. And the club programs weren't as big. Coaches still came to high school games and watched you there. So high school lacrosse actually meant something, and you took pride in it. And I played 4 sports in high school. I played golf for 3 years. I played football my senior year, and I played basketball for 3 years. So I played lacrosse all year round, right? During basketball season, I was playing lacrosse some nights and on the weekends. And my coaches knew that, football season too. So, I certainly prioritized lacrosse and played it as much as I could in the off season. But we didn't have the tournaments on the weekends like kids have now in the fall and in the winter. We were able to play other sports. And I really believe that I was a better lacrosse player because of that. I was in my best shape after basketball season. I became tougher because of playing football, and I have my hand-eye coordination and mental side of things from playing golf. So it's a very touchy question now, depending on your club program. I would say it's almost backwards, right? It's almost like you have to establish yourself at a younger age with your program and get in. And then when you get to high school, you can start to play other sports because, you have your spot, which doesn't make much sense. So, but I would say if lacrosse is your sport, then prioritize it and try and play those other sports as much as you can. And then in high school, do what you want. Coaches are going to look at you and they're going to recruit you based on what you're doing in high school. Oh, he plays basketball, he plays football. Awesome. I know plenty of top recruits right now that I work with, and they play soccer and they play football or basketball, and they're in high school and they're able to make it work. So that would be my answer. It's backwards. It's almost like you prioritize it at a younger age in middle school, and then high school, you have your freedom again to do what you want. And then the summer obviously is all across.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, Rob, I know you've been very generous with your time. I know we had talked originally or exchanged with Joe that we were looking maybe at like 15 to 20 minutes, and you've given us 30, so we greatly appreciate that. We did have one closing question, which is, what's your go-to song or artist that you like to listen to, while you're working out?
Oh, cool. All right. So while I'm working out, easy. That's an easy question. I'm not a music guy. I couldn't tell you if you play a song right now that's a top 10 on the Billboard, I would not know the artist. Okay. I listen to music in the locker room, whoever's DJing, it's great by me. But I use Spotify, and I listen to Mint Canada is the playlist that I work out to every day. Whether it's a workout or a run, it's called Mint Canada on Spotify. It's more like EDM, electronic music. Upbeat, up tempo, get my heart going for my workouts. Growing up, I was a big Lil Wayne guy, but I'm not a real big music guy. I think I've probably been at like one concert in my life. I'm more a sports guy, so it's all good.
No, those mixes are awesome. So they definitely get you pumped up. But again, Rob, thank you very much for joining us. We're gonna hang on to the kids here for about another 10 minutes or so.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. Good luck with everything. Stay safe, stay healthy, and maybe we'll see some of you guys in the A3 app, all right?
Sounds good.
See you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, thanks for setting it up. That was pretty freaking awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So that was cool. A lot of truth what he spoke, boys. A lot of hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, I think. Well, again, Joe, thanks for making the connection. It's good to see you without the beard, there, bud. But so, guys, you spent half an hour with Rob Pannell. We still have some time here before we hang up. Actually, Coach Bender is going to join us next week, so he has a commitment, interestingly enough, with the University of Virginia team right now. But he's going to join us next week for a call. But what were some of the things that you took away from what Rob was saying? So why don't we go, kind of go down the line, guys. Anyone take anything specific from the messages that he conveyed? Just go ahead and chime right in, guys.
Who's first, guys? Who wants to? Let's go with Matt Scott. You're in the top left. You're answering first, buddy.
Well, I learned that you should always work hard and like not give up if you want to be the best.
Yep. Rain or shine, right?
Good. Johnny G.
I think Chase Aquino was getting ready to chime in before we picked up Matt Scott. So Chase, go ahead.
Yeah, he just took what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that comment that he made about the fact that you can work hard for 2 days and then take 3 days off, and it's really going to regress. It's actually like you didn't do the 2 days to begin with. I thought it was a really great message to convey. Really trying to get into more of a consistent workout regimen, guys, which is what we've been stressing and what we've been talking about, all along during these calls. So that's a great one. Thanks, Chase. I see Kendrick's hands up. Go ahead, Kendrick.
Yeah, Bryson. It's Bryson, actually. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's a tiny little box. It's like this big on my computer screen. So I see a hand. I can't tell whose it is. It's right between the two of you.
Okay.
Consistency.
And how so?
And like hardworking and like other sports, you have to be consistent all around.
Yep. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions, guys, or other comments?
Johnny G.
It's important. I thought it was important that that he said about routine and structure, like working out every day and doing everything the right way.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
Schedules.
Excellent. How about you, Liam? What did you take away from this, bud?
I learned that like hard work really pays off. So if you want to be good at something, you have to work at it for a while, and you have to like push yourself to become the best.
Yep. Excellent. How about you, Carter Young?
Like work hard.
Okay.
All right.
Go to the point.
Spell it out, Carter.
So anyone else? Any other takeaways from today's discussion? And did we lose Matt Kelly? Where the heck's my son here? I don't see him on the list of people.
He asked the
He's gone.
question, then he disappeared.
Oh, there he is. All right.
I thought everything.
Got a ceiling.
Yeah,
I
thought
had
everything.
it. One of the things that I took out of this, which was surprising me, was his answer to my question was he had such a reversed outlook on the whole thing where so often kids play multiple sports growing up. They find their niche and they specialize through high school to get recruited, where he thought you work really hard at a younger age, specialize, solidify your spot, and then go out and play, which kind of caught me off guard. I never imagined it that way.
That was definitely interesting. That answer was very interesting.
All right. How about you, Donald? Oh, yeah. Yes, you. Go ahead. What did you take away from it?
I only know that I don't know.
Well, that's all right. We'll give you a free pass. But again, guys, that was a great opportunity. So hopefully, you guys were excited about the fact that he was online with us. And again, I love the fact that you guys started off asking questions. So thank you for doing that. Which is why I wasn't sure. That's why I created a list of about 30 questions that I had sitting next to my computer, just in case we didn't have a lot of questions. But what I did want to touch on, actually, Rob, was there anything you wanted to touch on before we get into talking about this week's workout and so forth?
I just wanted to say, guys, I think sometimes, and I'll use, Bailey or as an example here, sometimes you guys don't realize some of the unique opportunities that you have that we growing up were not a bunch. You did not have professional athletes dropping in to chat with you while you're sitting in your room.
Amazing.
So
I'm still in awe.
So one thing I want to express to you guys, if you're on here and there's a professional athlete on here, please sit up straight, set up your camera, and don't disappear. Sit up straight, make sure we can see you and be respectful. But more importantly, soak up the moment. You guys are talking to professional athletes. This is absolutely amazing. So when we end this call, there's two things that you guys need to do right away. And one is download the app that he's talking about.
Yes.
The second one is give him a follow on Instagram. I mean, you guys just spoke to one of the top 5 players in the world.
Yep.
And he gave a half hour of his time just because the sport's given so much to him, he wanted to give back to you. So, Joe, Coach Joe, I want to, again, thank you for setting it up. That's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Joe.
Guys, relish in these moments. Relish in these moments. But please be present, too.
Yeah.
That's all I really had today, guys. He said everything that I could have possibly said motivational.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. So Kenrick, why don't we turn it over to you? I know so guys, we're going to spend, about 5 minutes or so just briefly talking about this week's workout. So Kenrick, why don't we turn it over to you?
Yep. So guys, since we had the call today, we didn't really want to switch anything up from last week's workout too much. So keep doing what you're doing. Some things that you can do to make it a little bit more difficult. Obviously, the easy ones would be add reps to it. Like strength and core stuff, just add more reps. If you guys have milk jugs or things like that, you can use those as weights. If you have dumbbells, use those. For the speed and agility stuff, you can move the distances of the cones out a little further, okay? So like for the clock drill, move those the cones out a little bit. Instead of being 5 to 7 yards apart from that center cone, move them about 10. For the back pedal and sprint drill, you can add more cones, okay? So then you're doing more back pedaling and sprinting, okay? For the clock drill, you can add a ball to it, okay? So I just kind of made a quick diagram. I don't know if you can see it very well. But if you put a ball at 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, what you can do is grab the ball at 6 o'clock. You're going to run up to the center, come back down here to 4 o'clock, drop the ball off, run back to the center, come over here to 3, pick up the other ball that's there. You're just going to keep going around, dropping a ball off, and then picking up a new one. Okay, so works on still cutting, having to cradle, accelerating with the stick in your hand, and stuff like that. Putting it down nice and under control. Then when you get to that next cone, you'll have to scoop one up and take off right away. So, like I said, just a few minor adjustments to that. But like Rob said, consistency, doing what you can. I talk to all my athletes all the time about what you're doing when the coach isn't watching, and I think that's one of the most important things right now that you guys can do. Are you out there working hard in the yard, or are you watching video or playing video games, watching movies and things like that? So you guys have plenty of time to be taking advantage of all this time that you have on your hands, so utilize it, maximize it, and work on making yourselves better, and start with doing these workouts, fill out your log sheets, and do all the fundamentals and stuff. One of the biggest things is those fundamentals. When you start getting tired and stuff during a game, it always comes back to who's got the best fundamentals, and who's been doing their practice and stuff like that. So make sure you guys are working those fundamentals, working on your speed and agility so you don't get tired as quickly when we get back to playing again. And like I said, just keep working hard. All right. That's all I got for you guys.
Great. Thank you, Kenrick. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Kevin, before you wrap up, I just want to drop one bit on them about something we talked about at the school this week. But go ahead. What do you have first?
As long as it's not hygiene again.
It's not hygiene today. Hygiene. Come on.
So guys, I'll put an email together tomorrow with the details that Rob shared with us, regarding A3 lacrosse, our password, the workout music that he likes to use, which is very similar to stuff that I like to listen to, which is trap music. In terms of the workout from Kenrick, I'll capture a couple of notes and put that into bullet format and get that out to you guys. Also, we're going to be dropping 2 videos this week on YouTube. One was recorded yesterday that basically takes you through a series of drills that your mom and your dad, in many cases, could be doing with you, or if you have a brother, that plays lacrosse, or a sister that plays lacrosse. They can be doing it with you as well. So we'll be dropping that video within the next day or two. And then we're also going to be dropping another video that takes a lot of what Coach Smith has put together in terms of workouts, and it will actually show you what a 30-minute session of doing those workouts actually looks like when you combine that with wall ball and so forth. So it just gives you hopefully a couple of ideas to put into your own plans. Outside of that, guys, I think we've hit on all the different topics. What I loved, again, was a really big message from Rob, and it resonates really well with me because, and I'm sure with all the other coaches, because we've talked about this, is that in times like today, you really have to push yourself. And as we've said before, you really have to be motivated and committed to try and get better. And it's really up to you. We'll give you the tools. We're trying to provide you with some connections, but it's going to be up to you. Just before we wrap up, again, Coach Bender will be here next week. I would ask everybody to please be here as well for next week's call. We're going to look at his career from playing at the youth levels all the way up until most recently when he was drafted by the Hammerheads. So we're going to ask him a bunch of questions around that, and also get obviously his coaching philosophies and what he's doing with his guys. But we're trying to also set up some other speakers for the future, guys. People like Kevin Crowley or Kevin Cassis, the head coach from Lehigh. We're trying to line up some folks that you guys are going to hopefully learn some things from over the course of the month of May. And hopefully we keep you guys engaged and keep you motivated to try and, again, continue to work and get better. So I'm done here, Rob. Why don't I turn it back over to you?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Coach. All right, guys. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick is, so as you guys know, I teach martial arts for a living, and in every one of my classes, we have what we call Mat Chat, and I cover a topic. And one of the things that I've found a lot with my students right now is this lack of direction. In life, we always find ourselves working towards something. As lacrosse players, we're working towards a game this weekend. We're working towards the end of season tournament. We're working for this. As students, we're working towards the test that we have on Friday. And right now in this quarantine, we're kind of lost in this what's next. And we're in this perpetual Groundhog's Day of this never-ending Sunday of what's next. So one of the things that I had as a Mat Chat yesterday is I talked about goal setting. And if you guys can really focus on me for a second, and I'll try to keep this short. Goal setting. Goal setting is the key to your success. But before you are successful at goal setting, you first must know the difference between a dream and a goal. Dreams and goals are both things that we want to have, want to attain, want to accomplish, want to get. The big difference, guys, is dreams we want or we let happen, and goals we make happen. For example, guys, I want to be filthy rich. I'm not going to be shy about it. I want to have so much money that I can buy my own professional lacrosse team and then pay for all you to go see it. I want to be able to donate to charity, but I have no plan of how I'm ever going to do that other than playing the lottery. So for me, that's just a dream. However, if I sat down and came up with a plan, I could turn that into a goal. You guys can set goals in every aspect of your lives: school, sports, relationships, and so forth. We use them as adults. But I'm going to tell you guys, I've been successful based on goal setting my whole life. So I just want to share my goal setting tips with you guys, okay? Number one, decide on a goal. That seems pretty silly, but you have to do that first. What do I want to do? Is it a sports goal? Whatever. You can have many different goals. What's my goal? Number two, ask yourself this very important question. Why is that goal important to me? If you can decide why it's important to you, you're going to work that much harder for it. Three, give yourself a deadline. When do you want to do that by? If you don't give a deadline and you leave it open-ended, you're never really going to get your wheels going towards it. Fourth, come up with a plan of action. What do I have to do to make it happen? Is it working out? Is it more study time? What is it? And then finally, make a commitment. And once you make that commitment, let nothing stop you from achieving that goal. What's your goal? Why? When do you want to do it by? How are you going to do it? And commit. Set some goals, guys, during this quarantine. You guys should be setting at least 3 goals right now. What's your school goal for the end of the year? what's your lacrosse goal by the time you get outside and get to play again? And one other goal in your life. If you want to share those with me, I'd love to hear them. But anyway, guys, I miss you all. Miss seeing you on the field. So that's all I wanted to share, guys. It's not about hygiene today, even though I can smell some of you guys right through this computer.
Yeah. Well, again, great seeing
Don't
you
worry,
guys.
I can smell you too.
Wise guy. Well, guys, great seeing you. We'll look forward to seeing you again next Thursday. Have a great week. Do your homework. Get plenty of sleep. Be good to mom and dad, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Later, boys. Be
Go
safe.
Trojans.
Bye.
Thank you.
Go Trojans.
Bye-bye, guys.
Hey, guys.
Bye, Coach.